Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Kingdom Culture family, welcome back to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. I hope everybody's been having a great week. This week, I want to talk about change. I was hanging out with my youth kiddos a few weekends back, and I realized something. I realized that I'm the person who I needed to be at their age. I'm the person that, would have loved to hug myself, my younger self, and told her that, not to seek validation from the world, things or men, not to worry so much about high school and not being the cool kid, not to worry about our future so much and just enjoy her every day. And I just turned 30, right? I told you guys I just turned 30. And hearing them say, how they love spending time with me, how they value how I show up for them, how they value who I am as a person, in leadership for them and a woman of God, truly got me thinking like, okay, cool. I am becoming the person that I needed when I was their age. And I am that person now. So who do I want to be in this next decade? Who do I need to be? What are the things that I need to change? What habits, what, environments do I need to either get out of or create? And so I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about how to create a plan about, on how to change. So, I know that I want to become the most healed version of myself, the most kind, the most loving, the most gentle, the most at peace, the most giving. So the first thing I ever do with anything, and you should too, is become aware. So become aware of who you want to become or what you want to change, because what you don't know, you don't know. And write it all down, right? So become aware. Write it all down. And I say this a lot, but spend time with yourself so you truly understand who you are as a person and what you're going to tolerate, what you're not going to tolerate, what things are good right now, and what things you actually need to change. Write it all down. I always put it in a notebook, and I put it everywhere. So I have a notebook at my desk. I have a little notepad that I put things in so that I can put stickies everywhere. I have a sticky note on my desk at work. I have it on my phone, on my notes. So, just become aware. Write it down though. Like, become aware and write it down, because that way you will keep reminding yourself of what it is that you want, and it won't just be like in your head. It's like a math problem, right? Like a math problem you can't solve in your head. You actually have to write out the work in a piece of paper. It's the same thing with our goals. When we become aware of what we need to change, we need to put them into action, but we can't do that if it's just up here, right? Secondly, what I do, or what you can do, is look at what you can change exactly right now in this moment. Because some things take time, right? But what can you change right now in this moment to get you started, to set the wheels in motion, to get you started into small action so that you can start feeling like, okay, cool, I can do this, and celebrate those small wins. I'll give you an example. For me, is I can focus on my strengths. I can allow myself to be joyful, and I can accept who I am right now with no judgment, and where I am with no judgment. Speaking kinder to ourselves is necessary, because sometimes we like to tough love ourselves into taking action, when in reality, accepting where you are right now with no judgment and allowing yourself to say, like, I am working towards this thing, makes the difference. Instead of saying, like, get up, you're not doing enough, blah 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 blah. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen movies, but I see that a lot, like when people are in the army, the sergeants and stuff, like, yell at their soldiers to move, to keep going, and that is a type of motivation. But when you don't have that, when your mind and brain and heart don't like click on that, your soul is more soft, speaking kind to yourself and accepting who you are is the way of motivating yourself to move. So for me, it was removing words, specific words out of my vocabulary. So like, I'm not there yet. I used to say that a lot. I used to say, I'm not there yet. I'm not gonna get there. I gotta move faster. I used to say a lot, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. Those are the things that are were my limiting beliefs that I kept telling myself to stop me from taking small action that I could change. So actually speaking kinder to yourself and saying like, I am working towards this thing. I am learning through this process. I am growing through this process. I am becoming who I need to be through this process. Changes the narrative of everything and allows you to actually focus on the things that you can change right now. And like I said, take small action. The third thing is I identify what is going to take me a bit longer. So like the actual habits that I have that need to change or remove altogether, right? Does my environment need to change? Is what I'm focused on right now the right things? After I identify those things, then I put in a plan to tackle them one at a time. So taking action is the big piece here, because if you don't take action, nothing changes. Like we can make a plan, we can write it out, we can have our goals, but if you don't take the action that you need to get there, it doesn't matter. So make a simple step-by-step plan to tackle these things. So excuse me. For me, changing my environment is a big one. So I always look at the people that are around me. Are they feeding into who I'm supposed to be later on, who I'm aiming to be later on? Or, is there specific habits? So am I watching too much TV? Am I mindlessly scrolling? Are those things going to take me to who I'm trying to be? No. Are the people in my life that are being negative and do not support me or don't show up like I want them to, or show up like I show up for them, those people are going to get removed because they're not becoming pillars of the life that I'm trying to create for myself. So the way that I change my environment is one, yes, I identify what needs to change, but two, I take action. So one of the main things that I ever did was my alarm clock. So I always used to hit the snooze button until I realized I needed to change that habit and I needed to change my environment. So now I actually have to reach. I have to reach for my phone to be able to turn it off. So it makes me actually get up out of bed and go turn it off. That changed a lot of things for me. I don't hit snooze anymore. Another thing is I stopped talking to certain people, and that changed everything because I no longer had to fear about having to be like a chameleon, having to change who I am, having to force myself to show up like how I didn't want to show up. I also put in new habits in place. So I started sleeping more. I'm in bed by 9 p.m. I started to read before bed instead of using my phone. And I started to just drink more water too. I know water's not a big thing, but little things like that, right? Like, what are some habits that are going to help you become the person that you want to become? For me, it was to be healthier, to show up for myself and not let other people talk bad about me or bully me or, be a people pleaser when I was first starting to change. So now I have to go back to the drawing board and realize what are the things that are not bringing me peace? What are the things that are keeping me from my most healthier self? What are the things that are keeping me from having the best successful career? What are the things that are keeping me from being the most at peace, right? And once I identify those things, I will be able to move forward and run and put it into action because I no longer hesitate to take action. but that's the third thing that I would do. Nothing in our lives is set in stone. And the faster you realize that, the faster you can become who you truly want to be. I've spent so much time trying to identify triggers and things that I want to change, and allowing myself to truly know who I am, because then I get to take action towards changing, right? And the actions are going to be different for everybody, because I'm not you. I don't know what you are. I don't know what you want to change. I don't know what are the things that are keeping you from getting there. But I know that it is possible and you can change, because nothing is set in stone. I remember my mindset mentor said, you know that saying that you can't teach old dog new tricks? Well, it's actually not true. It might take you a little bit longer, and it might take the dog longer to learn it, but you can. So that kind of opened my mind, and I was like, wait, so I don't have to believe everything that I'm thinking. I don't have to sit in this misery. I don't have to feel bad about myself anymore. I don't have to sit in my trauma. I can level up and change and become better and grow and heal. So nothing is set in stone in your life. You're not too old. You didn't miss out on anything. You're not too late to the party. You can change. Your life can change dramatically in a year, 6 months, 3 months actually. You just have to actually put in the time to get to know yourself and get to see what parts of your life you want to change. But if you don't spend time by yourself, if you don't spend time in quietness, you're never going to figure out what those things are. And there's always room for improvement in everything, right? So don't think that because you are older or, or that you're too young. There's no such thing. You have what it takes to change it. You have what it takes to have the life that you desire. You have what it takes to become who you truly want to be. You just have to sit with yourself long enough to realize what are those things that you want to change and who do you want to become. To me, life's like a video game. So the moment that I realized that, everything could change for the better, I started seeing life as a video game. So right now I'm in the level 30, right? And I'm focusing more on being joyful and present and, peaceful. So what are the enemies that I have to remove to go to the next level? What are the things that I have to change, to go to that next level? What are the obstacles that I got to go through to get to that next level? And it's more fun that way. Because this thing right here is not going to stop me. No matter how long it takes me, I'm going to go over those obstacles. I'm going to remove the things that I need to get to the next level. And it just makes it more fun. If you're not a gamer, that's okay, but I love video games, so I thought that was cool that I brought it into my own life. So, level up. Don't be so hard on yourself. Life is already hard enough. And that was the biggest lesson that I also learned, is life itself is already hard enough. With everything going on around us. Life itself, with anything else, with nothing else added, is hard enough. So don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace and identify what you would like to change, and actually work towards changing it. It was a wholesome moment to realize that I am now who I needed 15 years ago. And as you know, for me, it wouldn't be possible without God. And like always, I give you guys a verse of the week. The verse for this week is in Romans 12:2. That says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve that what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." So what does this mean for us? Basically, it's a reminder that real change starts in our minds. Instead of just going along with everyone else and what they're doing and feeling, or pressure to fit in. We're called to renew our thoughts and shape our hearts in God. When we allow Him to do this, we start to understand that what He truly wants for us, which is always something good and meaningful. It's like saying, trust the process and let God guide you through it. Because when we open ourselves to transformation, we get closer to the life and purpose that He has for us. And it's something that we don't have to do alone, right? So remember that it starts inside, and it's something that we don't have to do by ourselves. I pray that you are inspired to become who you need and help others along the way, because that's what we're meant to do. We're here put on this earth to help others, to uplift others, and to always be joyful and happy. If you don't read the words, the word, the Bible, there's always somewhere in the Bible, there's always a verse that talks about being joyful, being fully present, allowing yourself to just be. Because I don't think God made us to be stressed out all the time, unhappy, and not content with where we are, which is why it's important for us to sit with ourselves, because we need to know who we are. We need to know what layers the world has put on us as we walk through it, and become aware of the things that no longer serve us and be strong enough to let them go. That's all that God wants, and the more that we're in tune with His voice, the better we are in our lives, right? I hope this brought value to your life, and if you could share it or think of somebody that might need to hear this, send it their way. I'm always so grateful for all of the followers that I do have, and we've been at this for a year, and it's been amazing, and I just hope to bring more value and more good things. But if you find value in this, please share it forward, put it on your social media, repost it, whatever. I appreciate all of the help. I also had one more announcement. So I know I announced my coaching business to you in July, but I also am working on adding onto the kingdom culture things. So I always talk about journaling. I always talk about asking the right questions. So I am releasing a journal. It's going to be a journal for you guys to have journaling questions, to get deeper into knowing who you are, and to allow yourself to open your mind to things that you probably wouldn't have asked yourself before. So it's amazing. It's been so fun creating it for you, and I will have it available for purchase. I will drop more information on it, but yes, I have created a journaling book to help you know you better. Anyways, always remember that I love you, but the Lord loves you more. Always. God bless.